Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome, welcome, welcome to 12 Faces of Sober Speaks podcast, episode 26. I am your host, Kenneth Watson. Before I introduce my guest, you guys can shop the merch. My book, 12 Faces of Sober, is available on Amazon. All you got to do is type in 12, the number 12, Faces of Sober, and you'll be able to see me, my face, on the book cover. Also, I have merchandise. You can go on 12 Faces of Sober on the homepage. You have a gray hoodie and a gold T-shirt. You can click on those. Those are the spring of 2021 line, and I'm pretty much doing the clearance on those. I have a whole host of other merchandise is kicking off as far as the fall and the winter. I just uploaded some new stuff actually just yesterday. It's a beanie. It's in 3 different colors: black, blue, and red, as well as I have different hoodies. I have spandex. I got biker shorts. I got a little bit of everything. I got fanny packs. So like I said, you can shop the merchandise on 12 Faces of Sober. All you got to do is click on merchandise, and you can get the updated stuff. This right here, like I said, is the older version of everything. The new stuff now has the black lettering, so it's a little bit different. And like I said, the prices are pretty reasonable. Like I said, you guys know I'll be having sales. Also too, as far as I've been taking a mental health break from social media. So I guess you could say this is what, day 18, day 19. I've been on there every now and again, just simply because got family's birthdays and stuff like that, and it's very important that I remember those. And from time to time, I'll glance on other people's pages, but I haven't really been interacting, just for the sole purpose that I have to really focus on my mental health right now. I got some surgery going on next week, and among other things. So I just felt like it was important to take a step back from social media and focus on me. Like I said, I got my book, trying to get a house coming up soon, planning a wedding. So it's a long list of things that I got going. So, but yeah, sometimes it's good to step away from social media, because sometimes it gets to be a whole, very draining. But enough of me rambling. Like I said, my next guest, I met her on Instagram. I would probably say roughly about a month to a month and a half ago. I would say by way of someone else that I interviewed on my podcast, I would say Adrian, which was Sober Black Society, if I'm correct. But she's been, very, at least I know one person is looking at my messages lately. She'll click the like, she'll click the comments if it's something that she likes as far as my post. So, and that's what's most important to me, is just to be able to reach out to at least one person and try to be as positive and as encouraging in this sober community, because like I said, you never know who you're actually going to impact for that particular day. But enough of me rambling. My next guest is Tia McFarlin, and she's going to introduce herself, tell us a little bit about herself, and then we're going to go into the interview. So welcome to 12 Faces Sober Speaks podcast.
Hi, everybody. My name is Tia. I'm from Stockbridge, Georgia, in Henry County. That's outside of Atlanta, and I currently reside in Macon, Georgia. I work as a med tech overnight. So I have a lot of energy right now because it's nighttime. I come alive in the nighttime. I have a dog. That's my child, my son, Fabo. You might see him on my page every now and then. He likes to take the front wheel when the camera comes on. And I've been sober for a year. I just celebrated my 1-year sobriety. Woohoo! On August 31st, a couple of weeks ago. So I'm so freaking excited. Like it was a nice little road to get there, but it was totally worth it.
Okay, now you just mentioned your dog and the dog's name. Fabo. Now, is that from D4L?
Yes, it is. Oh my gosh. So D4L was like, I grew up in that era of like the snap music. So when I was like 18, 19, 20, going to like those like bars and clubs. Like I will always see in Atlanta D4L performing, and Fabo was like full of energy. So I always said when I first got my dog, I wanted a dog with white fur. I actually wanted a Bichon Frise because it had white fur, and I wanted to name him Fabo, but my boyfriend got me a dog with white fur who was actually a bulldog. But I love him anyway. I've had him since he was about 3 weeks. So I named him literally after Fabo. And actually, when Fabo was 6 months, Fabo the rapper performed in Macon, and I didn't know I was talking to his mom the whole time. She was so excited to like finally know that that was like my dog named Fabo. They wanted them to meet, and Fabo the rapper actually met my dog at 6 months old. So it was so meant to be to name him that.
Wow, no, that's a story. Yo,
I know.
that is truly, that is a very unique story to say the least. For sure, for sure. Now, you said you just celebrated 1 year being sober. Congratulations. Now, I want to know the stuff before you getting sober. Now, at least I mean, what you feel like sharing, so how did you get to the point of, alcohol getting out of control? And we all have a story, so I'm here to listen to yours.
I'm an open book, so you can ask whatever you would like to ask, because you never know who needs to hear my particular story. So ask away. I will say, let's go back to the first time I started drinking. To be honest with you, college. When I went to college, that was like your rite of passage to drink people under the table. After class, you go to happy hour from 5 to 7 because the drinks are 25 cents to like $1 or $2. There's power hour in the evening. There's 25 cents or $1 pitcher of beers. I mean, there were just so many ways to get alcohol, especially in southern small towns. You can always find someone with a fake ID, or sometimes people just don't ID at the door because, we go to class together, or, you knew somebody like popular, who knows. So that's where I formed my habit of drinking alcohol. Not gonna lie, it was college.
And now you said you picked it up. Now, was that when you actually abused alcohol as well? Was it
Ooh.
college or?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, like, alcohol abuse to me is, getting drunk beyond your limit. Alcohol abuse to me is blacking out and not knowing where you are when you wake up the next day. How did I get in bed? Thank God I had an amazing like circle of friends. My sister, my roommate, my other form of sisters that I still hang out with to this day. We all always had each other's back, even to this day. So when it comes to one of us drinking a little bit too much, I was always in a safe space. But heck yeah, like, you form your abuse of alcohol in college because you just take so many different shots of whatever. The goal is to get as drunk as possible. Like, I have a story. We were poor in college, of course. Everyone's, a little broke life, living the bougie life. So our thing was to get a 211 from the grocery store or from the gas station and take a straw, and we will all race to see if we can finish drinking it the fastest. And that would get us like the most drunk. So that was like our balling on a budget drink. So
Wow.
that was it.
I'm speechless. There's nothing wrong with it, because one of my last drinks of choice, I'm sorry to say, it was 211. Well, it wasn't 211, but it was a malt liquor. So you had me with a little flashback right then and there.
Okay.
Yeah, so trust me, I know what you mean as far as being on a budget. Now, what when you were saying that, you're in college, you guys are basically in competition to see who can get intoxicated first, or who has that bad story. Now, did it become a problem in college where it affected your studies?
Yes, it did. It did become a problem. I'm already not an early riser, and I had the nerve to have all morning classes. So of course, I wasn't able to finish out my college studies, I actually came home about a year before I was set to graduate. But I'm not gonna say that it's all on alcohol for sure, but alcohol definitely played a part because it didn't allow me to really focus. I wasn't that type that can like get super super lit and then can go to class the very next day. I missed a few classes here and there, so that did affect my GPA. I dropped out because of other different reasons, but I cannot lie and say that alcohol didn't play a part. I'm not gonna lie about that. That had a little small part.
Now, now, when you decided to get sober, like what was it? What was the lead up to you getting sober?
Okay, so there were two different lead ups because I went through my phases for maybe like a year and a half up until I officially got sober. I just started looking and just noticing like, why the freak am I even drinking? Like, why do I have to go to dinner and have a glass of wine? Why do I have to link up with like friends and talk and catch up over whiskey and ginger beer? Why do I have to celebrate Christmas dinner and we pop open a bottle of red wine? Like, I would always question, like, why are we doing this? And for me, like, one wasn't enough. Two wasn't enough. Okay, three wasn't enough either. Like I would have a couple of them until I felt that buzz. But for me, after I felt that buzz, I just continued to go until okay, hey, I guess I'm drunk now. So let's just keep on going. And I'm not going to say I blacked out a lot, but I definitely woke up, just with that groggy feeling, that hangover feeling, sometimes on the toilet praying to the Most High, Lord, if you could please just get me out of this, child, I will do right by you. Like, and then going through that vicious cycle of getting lit again, with whoever, whenever, after the end of a work week, whatever the case is, because alcohol is so like normalized in our community and in the world, it's what you do as an adult. Like, who doesn't drink alcohol? So that was, one of my awakening points of just me saying like, my life is just revolving around alcohol. It just revolved. I didn't like the way I looked in the mirror because I wasn't working out. I'm used to being like an athlete back in high school, but not gonna lie, in college, after that, I just dropped sports or whatever, or just the art of like wanting to take care of myself or whatever. So, I just wasn't doing myself a service by drinking alcohol. And I noticed that was an issue mentally. But I'm not gonna lie, the big issue, the big wake up call for me was COVID. I work in healthcare. I'm a med tech in an assisted living facility. And I've been working as a med tech for a few years. So I was, right there in the middle of COVID. When it comes to seniors, they were hit the hardest in the beginning of COVID. And I would see myself,
Oh no.
for quite some time, all of a sudden they would just taint. They would just be unresponsive. I'm calling the hospital, wheeling out 3 residents here. I'm calling the morgue and bringing them in to bring up to get bodies, to collect bodies. And I'm like, what's going on? I would turn on the news and no one was there to help because no one had answers for me. So I'm just like looking and just trying to figure out what are the symptoms, what's going on. And when I get off of work, I can't relate to anyone because a lot of people were able to stay at home. They don't work in healthcare, so they had those work from home jobs, or they were paid to just sit at home while we figure out COVID. So when I got off of work, I literally would sit in my car and cry, like to the depths of my soul, cry, because no one would ever understand what I saw and what I went through during my shifts on a day-to-day basis. No one could relate. And then also, after my shift, once my 36-hour weekend shift was over, because I was working Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights at the time, 12-hour plus shifts, I would, decompress with a bottle of wine, and not that little cute little small bottle, 750 milliliters, the big one, like the Gallows. Oh, I would go in, like from the time that I started, when I got off of work till it was time to go to bed, like I was getting lit. I might not have finished the whole thing, but I sure went to work on it because that was the way for me to like kind of decompress the death that I saw in multitudes. That was the way for me to decompress, because there was no one that I could talk to. And to this day, I really feel like that the government should put a mandate to where um, therapy should be mandatory for healthcare workers. We have seen some crap. We've seen some crap, and we still see it to this day. So I think that therapy should be mandatory. For me, I turned COVID and seeing all of those deaths into a, you know what, Tia, you can't continue to go down this vicious cycle. You already know that alcohol is an issue for you in your life. You know that it's an issue for your own friends who have a more of a problem with this substance. But how dare you say that we all have issues and you're not fixing yourself? I had to stop.
Right.
That was my wake up call. Tia, you got to chill. That's it. You're done.
That's deep right there. Like, see, and one thing I would say is that it's truly important for, you know, for people to take, you know, take responsibility or hold themselves accountable. And not and a lot of times we don't. And and I'm glad that you did, and I commend you and salute you a lot, especially during this time of COVID, because I can just imagine, you know, I'm not gonna lie, and people look at me like, oh, you're too young to be retired. But when I say I'm retired and I'm loving it. And I'm only 42. But I can imagine, you know, for someone to work as a essential worker, and like I said, you guys are seeing a lot of things that in a lot of ways you don't tell. You don't come out directly and say, hey, I just saw this and this and that. This is the very first time I ever seen this, and it's gonna stick in my mind. So just like you said, you go home, and what's the first thing that you do? You go to what you know. You go to something that's good. Okay, that comfort in your case was that wine. And like I said, in my case was that hard liquor or that malt liquor. You know what I mean? And that's what happens when it's something of a serious issue. We go to something else because we don't want to think about it anymore.
Right.
And I'm glad that now you're on this side of it in terms of, you know, being sober, because that's what's most important, is that there are some people, especially during this pandemic, that are not on that side of sobriety, that want to be, that just don't know how to. So I commend you and I salute you for being able to make that decision. I mean, you took away one of my questions, but I will still ask it, although I know you'll say no. But you said that you pretty much just quit, right? Or what was your steps in terms of deciding not, you know, to go ahead and become sober? Like what was like the idea? Because I mean, for me, a reason why I say that is, for me, was like, you know, my scenario was, I knew I was going to treatment. So what did I do? I drank the night before. I went, played poker with my nephew, went to a couple bars, smoked the joint, and then knew, you know, and then we had to drive an hour and a half. So I had time to kind of sober up, but in reality, I didn't, because I didn't really get any sleep. I came home. My nephew dropped me off at my mom's house about 2:30. I had to be back. Well, we had to be on the road by 5:30. So I was pretty much just up. So I never sobered up. And then I entered in the facility, like basically still, like they didn't even want to admit me because my whatever was too high. My blood alcohol content was too high. Yeah. So I mean, what was it for you? Like, you know, I mean, you obviously put thought into it, but so walk us through that.
I'm not sure. I honestly think that I was one of those rare cases where I woke up and I said, FTS, like forget this. I'm straight. Like there's no way I can be my most authentic self if I'm still drinking this poison. It's got to be, this has got to be the reason why my life isn't ascending the way that it should. Like there's no way that I can cope. Yes, of course, wine and of course whiskey. I loved whiskey. Makes me feel all warm inside. But the after effects, the calm down, the anxiety, the weight gain, the eating crap the next day, not able to work out because I'm so like sluggish. I mean, there's got to be more to life than this, child. Like, and it's got to be you, alcohol. I've got to put you down. And that was just it. I just woke up and I just looked and I said, you know what? I'm done. I'm enough. Let's see what's going to be on the other side of alcohol, because I've never tried it before. Let's try it.
That's and see, that's why I love this podcast, for the simple fact of being able to hear people with different strategies of getting sober and staying sober, because not the way that I did it. I mean, I went to treatment 3 or 4 different times. I don't recommend that to everybody because it's not meant for everybody to do it. Mm-hmm. But just know that the option is out there. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think that's really cool. And I would say that this side of the world, if you know, I remember someone telling me that the grass was green on the other side, you know, when I wanted to get out the Army. But I think that, you know, seeing that now, okay, I got some years under my belt, I wouldn't trade this for the world. Mm-hmm. Like I value it, I treasure it, I like talking about it, because for one, it's something different.
Right.
You know? And like I said, a lot of places that I go into, I just wear my certain people will ask me, what is this about? Are you affiliated with the AA? I'm like, nah, this is me. And then I have to then go into, you know, explaining it. Now, so now do you, like, so those around you, you mentioned your friends, you know, I don't know if all your friends are still from college, but you mentioned your friends. Now, in terms of a support system, how is it with your friends and family? Like, you know, when you decided to, you know, come to them and say, hey, I'm no longer drinking.
Let's start with my family. My parents don't drink. They don't. They might have their occasional like wine whenever we have like family functions, but outside of that, that same wine bottle will be there if I was in college when I got back from the spring semester, if I left during Christmas. Like, that's how often that they drink. So they were so excited for me to decide to stop drinking. You know, they never pushed it. They never downed me. They never looked down upon me like, girl, you are a lush. You need to chill out, sis. Pump your brakes. Like, they never did that in my phase of drinking alcohol, because, you know, I was just young and like having fun. And how could they blame me because everyone else did it or whatever? So, you know, like, and I never did anything to like harm myself. I never had any alcohol poisoning. I never gotten a DUI, any of that stuff or whatever. So it was just, I was always the fun drunk, like, oh my gosh, Tia's here, we're gonna have a good time. Like, I'm already excited, but let's see how I am on alcohol. I'm really lit. So I was, you know, that was cool to be around when I was drinking for the most part. So they were super, super, super excited. My friends that are around me, I didn't tell my friends for a very long time. The only person that knew was my next door neighbors, who I love so, so much. And it, like, you know, this is your journey. I support you on it. You know, I'm here for you. My boyfriend knew at the time. He wasn't able to readily accept it in the beginning because, you know, we drank all the time, but he didn't disencourage it. Sometimes he did have those small snarky remarks, and I had to right there let him know, like, hey, that's not cool. That's not good for me to hear. You know, that can trigger me or whatever. And he didn't do it on purpose. You know, it was just fun shade. But I had to let him know, like, no, I can't hear that type of stuff. You know, I'm really trying to go on this journey, and I don't need to hear that from my support system. So, you know, eventually he turned it around and was very, very excited and supportive. I have a story about a cabin trip that I went on. I got sober in August 31st, 2020, and I went on a cabin trip in January. Mind you, I didn't really go too many places You want to hear that story?
I'm listening. I'm ready to
Okay.
hear it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, mind you, for the first couple of months, like I knew that I wasn't the type of person. I live downtown Macon. So, Macon, when I walk outside of my loft, I'm on a popular street. It's actually called Popular Street. So, when I walk outside, there are bars here, 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 clubs here, 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 here. So, I'm used to walking downstairs and grabbing a drink. So, I shut myself in the house for the first 30, maybe to 60 days. But it's not a bad thing. It was good for me to focus on my eating habits, which I needed to turn around, and it was great for me to focus on my healthy habits when it comes to working out. So I was able to get back out there. I lived for running, because like I was just so like in my head about things, and just coming down from like the alcohol, the first 30 days of like the jitters and all that good stuff. Working out helped me tremendously. But I felt like I was ready to like get out there and like have a good time. A couple months later in January, a friend, well, I guess an old friend of mine's, we're not friends anymore, off of different things, but it was her birthday weekend, and she threw like a cabin trip, and it was about maybe 10 or 11 girls, some that I knew, some that I didn't know. But I was like, okay, I can have me a good time in the cabins out in Tennessee, just getting some fresh air, doing some groundwork. I mean, I was super prepared. I brought my protein shakes with me just in case, they didn't have a blender. I brought some ready to go protein shakes. I brought all of my green teas. I'm a fan of tea all day. I brought my weights. I brought my yoga mat. Like I was ready to like have like a good serene time. So, once we all get there, well, actually before we left, we all took like a big van. We met at one person's house. And when she first saw me, instead of, I had lost like a ton of weight, like maybe 30 pounds, because shoot, I stopped drinking. Hell, I'm not eating French fries every day when I wake up or whatever, and I'm working out on a consistent basis. So instead of saying, like, oh my God, you look so good, you lost weight, I was greeted with, oh, what's wrong with you? Are you sick?
That's not.
I'm like, okay, this is the start of the freaking cabin trip. Lord have mercy, what am I getting myself into? But I'm not like, I don't let things like that offend me or whatever. So I try to turn it around like, nah, girl, I ain't sick. Like, I just, started working out a little bit, blah, 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 blah. Didn't tell anybody I was drinking at that point. So we go to the cabin. It takes like a 5-hour drive, and we start unpacking, and it's time to go downstairs. We have a chef cooking dinner. Everyone's taking shots and stuff. So it's time for shots. And I like, I'm like, oh no, I'm okay. I'll just drink some energy drink or whatever. And they was like, Tia, you're not drinking shots. You're not drinking shots. What's wrong with you? Like, are you pregnant? That's the telltale. Everybody always asks that child, like, girl, I'm pregnant. Like, child, no. So I just had to say, no, I'm not pregnant or whatever. I got through the first day. That night I wanted to work out, and she got upset that instead of me sitting there drinking with the group of girls, I decided to work out. But she didn't realize at the time that workout was my savior. That was my release. That helps me or whatever. But I can't explain shit like that to people that's already lit. Like, they're not gonna receive that. So I waited until the next morning. We had brunch, and of course it was time to start taking shots again and all that good stuff. And I was kind of ganged up on, not that they did it on purpose, but it was kind of like I'm not gonna say I heard that, but it was like why did you come if you're not drinking? And I'm just like, dang, like I can't just come to have a good time. Like she was really upset that I just chose not to drink or whatever. And as excited as I was to be on that cabin trip, because that was my first time like actually hanging out with people, I went right back into my little hole. Like, y'all got me messed up. I'm not telling nobody else I'm not drinking, because if this is what I'm gonna get, I'm straight. So I went right back into a recluse up until I guess I started posting photos, and I started coming out in April or May of this year. So yeah, that was my story.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, I'm glad that you thank you for sharing. Definitely. Yeah, that that was something that happened to me in terms of like having to explain yourself, because like I said, especially when people are intoxicated it's like talking to a wall. I mean, they won't understand you. I just had that happen to me probably a couple months ago. Went to a function, only person that wasn't drinking, and they were like, "So, are you ever gonna drink again?" And I was like, "Not if my life continues on this pace."
Mhm.
I mean, I I don't know what this life feels like. You know what I'm saying? This is like the longest period in my life of my adult years that I've been without alcohol.
Right.
And nothing, I mean, yes, I've had bumps in the road and things of that nature, but I've also had a lot more good things happen to me. So it's like, why not continue that? I eliminated one strong problem and now so many other doors are opening. So I
Right.
commend you. I commend you for being strong. And that's why I asked that question because, you're going to lose friendships. Your family members are not going to understand. Or just
Mhm.
like you said, you might have had coworkers, you might have had college buddies that you drank with, you party with, like you said, you're downstairs is a bar here, a bar there.
Mhm.
Those are all problems. You know what I'm saying? But you have to be a stronger person to not subject yourself. You know what I'm saying? Once you become disciplined, you got it in your mind. You should be able to do it. But one thing I would say, that's a good, when you said you had a set plan, I think that is really good because despite the fact that that might not have been their plan or their intent, in your mind, you still had, okay, I know that somebody's going to be drinking. Okay, well, this could be my time to go, do some yoga, do some stretching, go read a book, or what I'm saying, journal, or go see some sights, or whatever it is, depending on. Well, it's January, probably was cold as heck outside, but yeah, it is hard, but it definitely. Well, one thing I will say, it tests the loyalty of your friends. It truly does because the the one thing that I've learned is that if they don't truly understand that, regardless of if it was a small problem or a big problem, if they don't understand that this is what you're trying to do right now, then they
Mhm.
just don't need to be in your life.
You better
And
preach.
I mean, it's the truth. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, and you mentioned, let me see.
And I guess to segue from what you just said, if they don't support you, they need to leave your life. I do agree with you. I didn't have a lot of that. It's so crazy because when I started to just embrace sobriety back in like maybe March or April, I was like, nah, F that. I'm about to be sober and proud. Like, I'm not about to be a shell of myself or whatever, even though I'm so freaking happy within. It's the happiest I've ever been. I'm about to tell people how happy, I'm about to tell people how lit I am, and I don't even need to drink. So it's crazy now that I've come out and told people how sober I am and posting these posts on my social media. Mind you, these are the same people I even went to elementary school with, high school, college, people that I met in Macon. You don't know how many people have hit me up and have said, Tia, I'm tired of drinking. How
Mm.
did you do it? I need help. And I told myself when I was sober and I was quiet about it, I told myself when I got to a mental headspace of where I can assist other people, I'm gonna do it. I don't want anybody to go through it alone because I went through it alone. I didn't have anybody or whatever. And now when I go out to bars, because I still like to, when I finish up this conversation, I'm probably gonna go to maybe the closest like lounge or whatever. The bartenders know me before somebody can say I'll buy you a drink, they'll be like, she's drinking Shirley Temple with
Mm.
ginger ale or
Okay.
a Topo Chico. Like, people around me are so freaking supportive of my journey, and I'm so beyond grateful. Everyone is so supportive. They're like, this is my friend, she's Tia. No, she drinks a Red Bull, not a whiskey. She's good. I can't even tell people what I want to order.
That's what's up.
So I love that.
And that's good. See, now me personally, I mean, now you got a stronger willpower than me. Like I personally don't mess around. I don't go to any of those type of establishments. But like I said, see, I'm older, and
Mhm.
so you know, decades ago. I mean, but you know what I mean. I did my fun. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I worked in clubs when I worked in radio, so I know what that is. And plus it too, my lady ain't here right now. She's in Washington State, so I don't need to be in nobody's bar or
Mm-mm.
anything like that. So, but I mean, yeah, I mean, to each his own, and that to me is what's most important, is that if you can still have fun, do it. Now, I personally, I know me, and I just know that I don't like the smell of it, and I don't like it on people's breath. So I just know
Yes.
I don't want. I just and I'm lucky. Like I said, my lady, she don't drink at all. So it, you know what I mean?
Wow.
So it just, I got lucky with her. Let me tell
I
you.
know it. You better go off. Congratulations, by the way. You got a whole fiance.
Thank you. Yeah, yes, thank you.
You
It's
are so
been
welcome.
it's been a long time coming, but it's definitely the right time. I was just, before I got on with you, we sitting there talking about how we gonna plan the wedding. Are we gonna have one next
Oh
year?
my goodness.
I'm like, yeah, we got to pay for this too now, and try to buy a house. So it's a lot of different, a lot of different things and stuff. So, but we gonna pull it together though. Either way it goes. But now, um, how has it been for you navigating through the sober community?
Oh man, for a while, like when I said in the first couple of months of me not being the only one that doesn't drink and not really telling anyone, I mean, I didn't know I could use social media to like find people that were sober. I didn't start doing that until like maybe January or February.
Mhm.
Because I'm like, okay, if my friend's gonna do this to me, like there's got to be somebody that understands what I'm going through. And then that's when I just would go on the search engine on any popular social media platform
Mhm.
and just type in hashtag sober. And
Mhm.
I started to slowly but surely find, some sober people. Um, Adrian, or Sober Black Society, was one of the first people that I just reached out to. I saw her hashtagging or putting up a location of a restaurant in Atlanta. And I'm like, let me shoot my shot. I bet. Let me find out she's in Atlanta. I'm gonna link up with her. We gonna link up. So I just sent her a DM. I was like, hey girl, hey, I just saw that you posted a restaurant in Atlanta. Do you live here? Are you visiting? And she was like, yeah, I live in Atlanta. And we linked up a couple of days later and we have been like thick as thieves ever since. I mean, I can always tap in and like, just talk to her when I'm having a low point, to where, yeah, of course my girlfriends will understand, but she would really know what I feel and how I feel or whatever. And there
Like
are other platforms.
like-minded people
Like
sometimes
minded.
it gives you a better understanding.
Thank you. And she introduced me to you.
Mhm.
I was able to see her interview of you, and I was able to follow you and other people and da 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 da. But I don't really have a huge, circle. I would love to meet more people, but it's a little difficult. I'm not gonna lie, especially when it comes to my melanin community. That's why I go so hard with sobriety. You don't see it here, and people are. I never realized that people are watching me in particular. I didn't think nobody cared about the post that I post until I get those text messages, those DMs of people that I've known for years. Sometimes I get those social people in Atlanta or in other cities that I've been cool with. Yeah, we used to club together all the time, get sections and all that good stuff. They popping bottles, but the next day they're like, Tia, I don't want to do this. I'm just going through the motions. I'm ready to stop. Like, I mean, popular people in the Atlanta area. So I got to keep going. I might not know a lot of people, but maybe I could be that vessel to bring others on, and then meet more people along the way. Who knows?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, because that's kind of why I did it, because my story is so unique, and the fact of like just, you know I just never gave up, needless to say. And that's why I feel like if it gets into the right hands, the story itself, it can be turned into a movie, because of just the relationship on top of relationship. Yes, I kept on drinking, but then it was like, all right, man, you don't need to be in no relationship. Just get sober, do you, travel for a little bit, and sure enough, the blessing just came. you know, as
Wow.
far as you know, with my lady, because I told myself, I was like, will I be, you know, because I'm not gonna lie, you know, I was you know, when dating, you know, because I let me see, yeah, I started, yeah, I dated like maybe three to 6 months after I got my divorce, and when I, you know, went out with these women, it was hard because it was like, okay, yeah, you know, I'm divorced now, but I'm also a recovering alcoholic. So now they want to hear about the divorce, and then, but why you don't drink? And I'm like, if you really want to know, I got a book I'm about to write. You know what I'm saying? It's about to come out. You're gonna want to know about it because it's gonna help a lot of people. And that's what I say. I'd say it over and over, is that my story can help a lot for those who like myself used to sneak and drink,
Mhm.
hide bottles, cans, whatever the case may be, to where I was the most livest person in the party, or I was the most
Mhm.
conversational person in the party. But I just know now that that's not me. I still like to have a good time, but I had to almost train myself slowly but surely, like to have fun, how to interact with people, how to go out in public, how to be okay with going in a restaurant, sitting close to the bar. Like me and my now fiance, our first date went to a lounge. All the seats they had were reserved in the front row, were like tables, and then they were like 50, $60 or whatever for the table. I said, I'm not paying for this.
Right.
So then the only other spots you had was either you stand or you stand next to the bar. So and I told her, I said, I'm not comfortable with this, and I literally ended the date. And that was our first date. And we went to
Shout
another.
out to her understanding.
Mhm.
Shout out for to understanding. Let's just say that.
Yeah, but look, I know I know you got things going on, so I'm not gonna hold you up tonight. Now,
You are
okay,
fine.
I didn't know
I
you.
promise you, you are fine.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, yeah.
Let me ask you a question because like I said, ever since I've spoken out about sobriety, there have been a few people that has started their journey of sobriety because of, like, you know, watching me. And I one of my friends, he's a guy, and he's single. And I was just asking, you know, like, how do you feel about getting back out in the dating life when it comes to, you know, dating women? Do you want to date women that are sober? Do you want to date women that drink? Like, and he was just like, I don't know. I really don't know how I would feel. That's why I haven't like dated anyone. So what did you do in the beginning, Kenny? Like when you were sober, and I know you were already going on dates at the time before your blessing came, you know, before your forever came. Like, did you prefer when you found out that they drank? Did you kind of end that date, or were you open to people that drank alcohol and you were just upfront like, hey, let me just tell you straight up, I don't drink alcohol? How was your journey of dating sober?
That is a very good question. Dang, that's deja vu. There was no alcohol in my apartment when I was in Minnesota. I let it be known. I made an exception one time and one time only, and that was one time. But I mean, like it wasn't so much that it was a rule to say, okay, yeah, I had to date somebody that didn't drink. It was just like I felt like it was going to be hard to find her. And so I was just like, all right, well, if she comes, she comes. You know, if she doesn't, I mean, I'll have to manage. But I just knew that if that person drank, she just couldn't be in my presence or have alcohol on her breath, because I think that that would be a trigger. If I smelled it, tasted it, then, you know, am I guilty? Did I break my sobriety because I swapped, you know, lips, you know, kissing with this person? So, and like I said, I got lucky, but I didn't necessarily end the date. Like I said, I went out with one lady a couple times, and I think both times she ordered like some wine, and I was like, well, I'm not kissing her tonight. but
Okay.
but um but nah, you know, I didn't even think about it. I was just like, okay, it's gonna be a challenge to find someone who doesn't drink, but I'm gonna, you know, I'm looking forward to it. And that was one of the first things I asked my lady. I said, do you drink? She's like, I'm not gonna sit here and say that I've never drank before. You never had a drink, but that's not something that I do. And then she was like, I said, well, look, I'm a recovering alcoholic. She's like, oh, that's even better. She's like, cause so it was like, cool. But yeah, I'm thankful that she doesn't drink. And like I said, we can still have fun and alcohol won't be there. Okay. One person's sober and the other person isn't.
Speaking of fun, isn't traveling so much more lit sober?
Yeah. It
Freaking
is.
love
Yeah, I'm see it, man. Let me tell you, I've been, as I mentioned earlier, I've been to South Africa.
it. Hmm.
I'm a big sports fan. So my thing is like I love going to different arenas throughout the country. So since I've been sober, I've been to baseball games in San Diego, games in Minnesota, Cleveland, here in Jacksonville, Mississippi. And it's just I make it a point to go different places, and then during that time of traveling, I get a chance to see whatever landmarks is out there. I get a chance to link up with family or link up with friends and stuff like that. But definitely traveling is cool because for me, especially like when I was married, my ex-wife did not want to travel and go anywhere. It was only like when I lived in Texas, it was like we went from Texas to Phoenix. I couldn't go to Minnesota. We couldn't go nowhere else. Matter of fact, I was married for 6 years. She never even been to San Diego, never saw where I grew up in my neighborhood. So, but despite the fact that I was all throughout her neighborhood in Phoenix. So, but yeah, I would definitely say that I've traveled a whole lot more, even this year alone. I was, like I said, I got
You
engaged.
was living during your birthday. I just want to tell you, you was living. I was like, I woke up, you was in a whole nother state. Like,
But see, that's why I did it, because I was like, even with that, because like I didn't really want to announce that I was there, but then it was like it was all part of the plan. Like I said, I knew that I was gonna propose to my lady. It was a matter of when, because she had broke her foot when because she's a travel social worker, so she was
nice.
working in Maryland, and she broke her foot up there. And so when I was thinking about proposing to her in Minnesota when we were
Yeah.
out there in July or June for my niece's graduation, but then I was like, I want to go do it at a waterfall. So I did a little bit of research before I got out to Oregon and Washington State, and so we just went out there, and it just so happened. And then what's even more crazy is somebody that I used to work in radio with. He was just out there, like literally, like within the last this past weekend. The very
Yeah.
place I'm like, don't nobody just go. It's like outside of Portland. So it's not, it ain't nobody just gonna randomly come to this like city. Like you have to drive through Portland, going, I think, east into the state and everything. But yeah, it was cool. I love traveling. I love it. Everything is different. The taste of food is different.
And
Um,
tell it.
just the outlook on people. Like
Yeah.
everything is different.
Conversations with new people, waking up and like excited to attack the day because you remember your memories.
Mhm. And
I wish everyone could experience it.
and I would say that with me getting sober is that I've been able to go back to my past and
Wow.
actually piece together those blackout nights. Not everything completely, but just like piece together, like, all right, okay, I understand now. I understand this, I get that. So, but yeah, I mean, I all I can say is that this sober journey is fun. And I've been able to document it. And I've been able to share and tell people, like I said, the next step is eventually get on the speaking circuit, because it's just like I said, just 5 years. I mean, I literally this time 5 years ago, I was in a homeless shelter, like no joke. And then I went to Google it, and I was not so much trying to make myself look bad or the facility, but they done revamped it. So like the hood looking place that I was in 5 years ago is not the places that they have now. But it's just interesting to see that, to go from being in a homeless shelter to now having a conversation with you about buying a house or having a house built into it.
Right.
So I'm living proof. And that's why I try to be straight up, and like I said, some people understand it, and some people accept it, and some people's like, nah, I don't know. It's kind of hesitant, but it's like you can go back and look. You can go back from September of 2016 to right now, and you can see the attitude, you can see the post, you can see everything. It's all documented, and ain't nothing changed. The only difference now is that I got a good woman on my team, and
Gang.
I'm happy to display her. You know what I'm saying? Compared to being in a relationship and that person encouraging you every time you say you don't want to drink, but they're encouraging you to drink. So my ex-wife never wanted to see me sober. So it's just good to be sober now, though. I'll tell you that much. And I got my master's degree in the process. I got my master's degree.
Nice.
Yeah, I got my master's degree in 2018. So, I mean, I try to tell people like, and then I got my master's degree, I think, at 38. Let me see, I've been out of school now, 3 years. So yeah, I got it 38 going on 39. So, I mean, if I can do it, anybody can. And then, like I said, in my undergrad, I went to 4 colleges and universities before I got my bachelor's degree. Yeah. And then went to 2 universities to get my master's. And then one school for my PhD that I haven't even finished yet. Yeah. So
you're doing it. You doing the darn thing. You doing it.
And
you are such an inspiration, seriously.
Well, I like, it's people like you that just make me want to continue to stay sober. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, for one, like you mentioned, you're eager to meet more people in the sober community. You can reach out. You've already met one person in the sober community face to face, and now you formed a bond with her. Now you're having a conversation with me, and it's the same thing as well. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm I'm down to earth. I know you probably was like, man, I don't know what kind of interview this is gonna be, but I'm just straight up. You know what I mean? Like ain't no need to change it up. The only difference is I just don't have alcohol in my life. That's the only.
Right.
But I can still be me. You know what I'm saying? Still be yourself.
It's like you are your most authentic self.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have any blinders on. So it's like, I'm me, I'm who the F I am, take it or leave it. Instead of like, let me just see how I can fit into this bubble of people that I'm around. No, you're gonna get what you get.
True.
What's up? Right. Take me or leave me.
Yeah. And then hold on a second now. Let me see. Mm-hmm. Okay. So now like, as far as like, navigating through the Black community, it's like, I know you have, like you mentioned the support system, but like you said, with social media, it's how can I word this? Because this question just came to me, I almost lost it. But now navigating, like, I guess, are you intrigued by seeing like celebrities on social media being sober?
No.
Okay.
I like seeing people like you being sober. Normal people that live normal lives like me, and that has known that the alcohol culture, the drinking culture, the wine culture, the mommy culture is so real, and it's just eating away at our community. It's affecting our mental health, and we're just being like, we're stepping outside of the norm. We're like the radical movement of like society. I like seeing people like you and like me. Celebrities, all right, cool, but like, what are y'all? Y'all are just normal people, so I'm not gonna put y'all on a pedestal. Shout the F out to you because you have a bigger platform that can reach, more of an audience than I can. But I crave meeting and seeing people like yourself and myself and and just normal everyday people that are just like going against the grain, saying, fuck that noise, I'm not drinking.
And so moving forward, so how you trying to navigate through the sober community? Like, so how what you trying to do with it moving forward?
That's the thing. Like, I mean, thank you again for even reaching out to the baby sober girl, and wanting to, listen to me. I didn't even know if I even had anything interesting to say, but thank you for giving me the platform. But it's just, I would love to continue to connect with you and, help you build your platform as much as you can, meet other people that that you've done previous interviews with, maybe us doing like monthly like meetings and things like that. Here in Macon, I want to continue to be a vessel with my sober community. Like I said, I love working out. So I want to, do something where I'm not saying that you got to get sober, but it's okay to take a break. Every now and then take a little pause and maybe create like a exercise. Or I love tea. I'm definitely going to do something in the future dealing with tea in my community and putting that out there. My friend Nancy Cleveland, she deals with the mental health community here in Macon, Georgia. She has a Instagram profile called Macon Headspace, HEADSPACE. I just joined forces with her to help, just what she's doing is it's like a gym on Saturdays once a month where you can get, it's like a one-stop shop. You can go and get some yoga done. You can do a few exercises. There's some health and nutrition there. There's some mental health counselors that are there. I mean, I love it. She just started it a couple of months ago, but I just want to continue with the mental health and helping our community, because I know that you say that you don't go to bars, but Kenny, I still go out there. And for me, what helps me is when my social meter gets low, I'm out. Bye, y'all. See y'all later. See y'all the next time. I'm not there until close, but I also am able, because I have my blinders off and I'm sober now, I see how damaging alcohol is to people's mental health. I can literally look outside and just, oh God, it's just so ravishing. It's like a movie watching people get too drunk, sometimes approach me upset for no reason. And now, instead of me meeting you with that energy, I allow you grace, especially when you're under the influence of alcohol, and even not even under the influence. Who knows what you're dealing with? It's never me. It's always something that you're going through. You just lashing out is just a part of you not being able to handle and unpack it, because alcohol definitely leads to depression and anxiety. Let's be clear. That's the healthcare in me coming out. But let's be real, it's ravishing our community. And what we're doing is we're watching TV, we're seeing basketball players, we're seeing just anybody just normalizing the hell out of that shit. And it's not all right.
Yeah, it's good. Like I said, it's definitely, you turn it on, on TV, like, this is, now we're back in football season, and, every commercial, on Saturday and Sunday, is going to be, every other commercial is going to be something beer or alcohol related. And so it's always around you. And, it's not, don't let me just say it like this. I don't have anything against the bar. It's just that, like, I'm here by myself. So, like, I'm definitely not going out like that. So you don't have to, you know what I mean? Like, but even if my lady was here, we probably wouldn't be in no bars anyway. I mean, she's younger than I am, but she doesn't go out like that. If anything, she probably would want to go together. But I don't know. I think that it's a challenge. It's a challenge because, you said something, and actually it was from a comment that you said that I said on my last, I think it was 2 podcasts ago, that there's a lot more people that have that problem than and I'm quoting myself wrong, but yeah, that there are more people who have the problem with the issue. Like, if someone's asking you, well, I don't understand why you drinking, or giving you a hard time, just like you said, you went on a camping trip, and some of those same people that may have made fun of you or poked fun may be the ones who have the issues, but they just are not at that level of where you are, where you're strong. You're strong enough to say no. But then, instead of them saying, okay, well, maybe she might be on to something, maybe Tia's on to something, but instead they're like, nah, let me go ahead and poke fun at her, because now she's doing something different than everybody else is doing in this room. You know what I'm saying? So now you're sticking out like a sore thumb. You're just choosing to still have fun, you're just not having fun with that alcohol.
Right.
And a lot of people don't understand that. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And so, and like I said, see, and I guess for me too, before I continue to just ramble on. But the one thing that I realized is that like I could say, okay, I partied in my 20s. That was the early 2000s. Okay, the 2010s, I was in my 30s. And now I'm in my 40s and the 2020s. And now the same stuff that I wanted to do 20 years ago is definitely not the same stuff that I want to do today. I don't want to be partying. Like I said, and I remember I told you I used to live in California when I first, started, doing the adult things. So I was down in Tijuana, Mexico, partying every weekend. That's how close I was in San Diego to the Mexico border. It was like we drive.
Was that close?
Yeah, I was like 15 minutes away from the border. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. So it was like, just imagine being 18 to 20, because I left San Diego right before I turned 21. So
Mhm.
just, imagine going to all these clubs, all you can drink. You pay $10, get in, you drink for free all night.
Yep.
It's just every Friday. You know what I'm saying? Just like you mentioned about college. See, that's why I try to give these examples because I lived it. I was the same one, partying in Mexico, knowing that I had an exam come Monday. Guess what happened? Sunday night, I'm up all night cramming for that next exam come Monday morning, all because I wanted to party and chase women Friday and Saturday nights and didn't take college serious. And that's why, as I mentioned, it took me so long. It took me 6 years from 97 to 2003 to get my bachelor's degree in 4 colleges. So and alcohol wasn't the major factor, but it was a part of the factor.
Right.
So, but yeah, I don't know, man. You hit me with, a great question, and it made me think, and now my mind is truly turning. But before we get up out of here, um, you know, what and I know this is going to be a dope answer because almost all, I ain't gonna say all your answers have been dope and they've been unique. But seeing that you got sober the way that you did, it was more or less that you were tired or sick and tired of being sick and tired of waking up feeling the same way, or dealing with those problems because the problems are still there.
Yeah.
So now that you're about to hit 13 months sober, what would you have, like, what advice would you give someone that is straddling the fence, that's contemplating getting sober, that's right there, that might just need to hear the right kind of advice?
Sorry, I live downtown, so there's a group of drunks that are going downstairs to go party. So I apologize about the noise.
Hey, listen, that's perfect for the show.
You hear them turned up, like
in,
they ready to
in
roll.
real time. In
And a
real time.
pregame is kind of party.
Yes. That's how it's supposed to be.
Right.
Yes, indeed.
Sorry about that. What advice would I give a person that's deciding
Mhm.
to
Just kind of
to
making that decision. They're right there. They're having that inner conversation with themselves, but they're still not there.
and same thing I said to myself, make a list.
Mm.
Make a list, write down your pros and cons. What are the pros to drinking alcohol, continue to drink alcohol, and what are the cons? I'm sorry, what are the pros to stop drinking alcohol? And then what are the cons with continuing down that path of drinking alcohol? It was clear as day for me that the cons significantly outweighed the pros. And I've never gave myself the opportunity to try the pro side because it's so normalized. Now, I didn't know nobody, but I was like, you know what? Let me give myself a chance and try this side. And that's the same thing that I would tell people, make a list and write those pros. Try it out for 30 days, man. Try it out for 10, 15 days. Give yourself a chance and allow yourself grace along the way and be kind to yourself along the way and never not tap into people that that you can relate to. You know, there are so many triggers out there, so I don't blame you that you will feel defeated at times of your sobriety. I don't blame you. I felt that way in the beginning, but you got people like me that are more than happy to assist with you. I feel like, I don't know, like I'm just so content in my life and in my ascension when it comes to sobriety, and my life has made a complete 180. This could be my calling, who knows? I'm so comfortable having this conversation with you. It's second nature because I love who I am being sober. I love it. So, you know, tap into people, make that list, and make a deciding factor from there.
And then now you said you wanted to grow your community. So how can people reach you in terms of on your social media and stuff?
Okay, you guys can reach me at my Tia, TIA. That is my personal page. I was deciding for months up until my 1 year anniversary of sobriety if I want to create a completely sober page for my personal page. But being sober is a part of who I am. That's a part of who I am. So watch me on this journey, just like how you said, from 2016 to now. You can see the before, the beginning, the during, and the ascension. Y'all can watch me, you know, because you never know who needs to hear your story. Watch my growth. I want people to find me from knowing me since elementary school, and new sober people who just click a hashtag and find me along the way. But yeah, it's my_TIA. Come follow me. I'm lots of fun.
And now I'm gonna leave you with this. I for one, I appreciate the fact that you came on tonight and shared all you know, the another version of how to get sober, because there's not just one way. And I want to see the growth in the sober community. I want I want to see you be able to be an advocate for some of the very things that you said, mental health, because it's key in the Black community. We make fun of drunk uncle so and so, or drunk auntie so and so, or problem starter because they're drinking, but we don't take that time to really think about, you know, what that person may have went through, and we're so quick to judge. And I'm thankful that that for one, you brought a whole lot of energy, and you can, you know, you're showing that sober living is just as much as fun as you would think if you're drinking. And your personality is what people need to see. The fact of, like, you're for one, you're loving yourself, and you're giving yourself the opportunity of do something different. And that's what happens. A lot of people, they want to follow the norm, or they want to follow the trend. This is the trend that I want to stay on for the rest of my life, and don't want to make the change. And I want to see you right there with it. And it's very important that you continue to network. It's very important that you continue to post those things, continue to express yourself, so that that one person that may just happen to be swiping up and down, that may need to see it. So I challenge you to continue to do it. I challenge you to continue to grow within the community. I challenge those, you know, my followers to follow you, because you have, you have good, good energy, good spirits, and definitely would be fun to hang out with. And like I said, once I get up to Georgia, we'll definitely do that. Or if you come down this way.
Yes, for sure.
But I take this serious. And I think I've met somebody that takes it just as serious as me. And I want you to continue to keep that same type of energy, and, and continue to educate those. It's going to be ignorant people out here they may not, they may have knew the old you, but they don't know who you are today. But they need to get to, get that time in to get to know you now. So enough of me rambling. Like I said, I thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on, taking the time out of your schedule. Like I said, my podcast is for people to come on and then just share their truth, to just speak it, and like I said, hopefully be able to help somebody in the process. So hopefully tonight it'll help someone else. So I don't know if you got anything else for me, but once again, like I said, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you allowing me to have a safe space to talk about my journey of sobriety. I didn't think it was worth hearing, but it might be to someone. My little wacky stories.
That definitely is.
I'm so thankful. I really am.
And like I said, we'll definitely keep in touch. We'll do some networking on a lot of different things, because I like the energy, and that's what I'm all about, is working with good, positive people. And the more sober people that I can work with, the better off, and to see where it goes. But you got a lot of good ideas, and I want to know more about them. So thank you so much for coming on. And like I said, 12 Faces of Sober, you can follow me on all platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. 12facessober.com can get you the merchandise. I also got a book on there you can sign. I usually do personalized messages, especially if I know you or somebody in the sober community. I try to make them personalized, especially the veterans. I try to do a little bit of everything. But like I said, I'm thankful for this platform. I'm thankful to be able to do this. And I look forward to having the next show. You never know when it's going to be. I'm not announcing any of them in the month of September. So it's just going to be, hey, tune in. And if you see it, you see it. And if you don't, you don't. But like I said, thank you once again for tuning in 12 Faces Sober Speaks podcast. Thank you again, Tia. I really do appreciate you coming on, sharing, smiling, having good energy. And like I said, we'll definitely be in touch.
Yes, sir. Thank you, everybody, for taking the time out to listen to me. You guys have a great night.
All right, take care. All right.
Oh, I didn't mean to leave. Did I leave?
No, you didn't. No, I just stopped. Oh, wait a minute. Did it stop the recording? Yeah.
Did it stop the recording?
No, I didn't.
I didn't see it pop up because earlier it popped up.